Hello everybody, welcome back to Cure for the Common Game. Today, in deck number 617, we're going to talk about Moraug, the Fury of Akoum. Now this is the mono-red commander we've been waiting on, or at least I've been waiting on. Okay, so each creature you control gets +1/+0 for each time it's attacked this turn. So in a normal turn, you're only going to get one attack step, but the beautiful part here is this is a 6/6 that is always going to act like in combat a 7/6. Well, when it attacks. Because once you declare it as an attacker, it gets the +1, right? So it has attacked. Now, landfall. If it's your main phase, there's an additional combat phase after this phase. At the beginning of that combat, untap all creatures you control. So we have landfall equals relentless assault. This, in my opinion, this may be one of the better landfall abilities they've ever made. Roll Elemental's good, but there's a bunch of good ones. But this one, this is what I'm talking about. And it's a Minotaur. Okay, so there's a couple different ways to go here. Yes, I did run, Relentless Assault, Carpe Diem, and The World at War because I just seem to fit the theme. I don't know. There are going to be times when you just can't make that land drop, That's the thing. Now, the way to do it, the proper way to do it is fetch lands. I don't have any of those. If you've got them, run them. I mean, run them all. Or, well, all the ones that can get a mountain. But what I do have is the panoramas. So I have the Naya panorama. The reason why is because you get 2 landfall triggers. You get the when you play this land, and then you get when the land you go get. I got to stop hitting the table. I'm excited. And anyway, so that way you can attack with Moraug for 7, play your panorama, attack for 8, crack the panorama, attack for 9. That equals death. I mean, there's no other way. So I've got the Naya panorama, go fetch a mountain. The John panorama, Grixis, Evolving Wilds, Myriad Landscape, Terramorphic Expanse. Dormant Volcano I like because it bounces a mountain to your hand, so you're going to get another, land drop out of the deal. And then, of course, Rogue's Passage. Because Rogue's Passage says, can't be blocked this turn. That applies to the whole turn. Doesn't matter how many times you attack. So that is why I really, really love this. Then we have got ways to pump up our commander. Because, let's face it, a commander that can attack multiple times a turn, that sounds pretty sweet. My first go-to was, of course, Claws of Valakut, because we're playing mono-red. Yes, we do have a lot of non-basics, but most of them go fetch basics, right? Claws of Valakut. Unleash Fury. Yeah, right? Until end of turn. So all of the combat steps this turn is going to have double power. Shivan Embrace. Flying, +2, and fire breathing. Yeah. Speaking of flying, I know this is funny. Just super funny to me. I love the first equips free. Flying Minotaurs. That's what it's all about, right? Crash through. My team's going to gain trample to end of turn, and it replaces itself with a card. So that's kind of nice. Explorer Scope. Kind of a land ramp thing. Adventuring Gear. The pluses just keep adding up, Now, another good one would be the Trailblazer Boots, obviously. Non-basic land walk, another evasion. Or if you had like a Whisper Silk Cloak or something like that. Scavenge Blade. +2. Now, let's see. I guess let's get in some ramp. Of course, we got our Soul Ring. Now, what I tried to do was try to use as many creatures as possible because we get to attack with them, right? You know, the Pilgrim's Eye, the Thopter searches you up a land, so actually, in this instance, for this deck, it's actually better in the late game. Right? Walking Atlas, gonna, you know, we got a little more lands than normal. A Hedron Crawler, we got the Alpine Guide, but then, of course, stuff like Mana Geyser, because why not? I mean, it's a great card. I don't think I've ever got, I mean, I don't know a number to put it there. I've always gotten way more than 5. I don't know that I ever got under 10. Vessel of Endless Rest, and of course the Bonder's Ornament, which is going to lead us into our card draw. You know what I'm talking about. Tormenting Voice, Thrill of Possibility, Light up the Stage and Wax a Chump Like a Candle, Cathartic Reunion, Seer Sundial. I like the Sandstone Oracle. You know, it flies. It's a creature you can attack with. Because we're getting multiple attack steps, we might, we got to have something to attack with, right? And then Valakut Awakening was kind of an easy pick, you know. It's a card draw spell, and it's a land if you gotta have it. Now, Fire Emancipation had to be in there. Triple damage, and of course, the Dwarf Noble himself, Mr. Torbrand. You know, because everything we got's red. Might as well do 2 more damage. Might as well multiply that times 3. It's just, you know, red has finally been given some decent tools. I'm super excited to play this deck, actually. Then we have landfall shenanigans. You know, Akoum Hellhound. It's going to get +2. So not only are we getting another combat step, this is now a 2/3. Plated Geopede. This is a 3/3 now, and if we're getting multiples, it just keeps getting bigger. Skyclave Geopede. Same thing, Gas Trample, 3/1. Spitfire Lagak. 1 damage to each opponent. Valakut Predator. +2. See, I mean, just Hedron Rover. More on the same lines, you know. Geode Ranger has got to be one of my favorite cards this year. I love it. Landfall go to team. So all you, you know, we saw this in Omnath. Most Omnath decks run it, but we kind of want to lay 2 lands a turn. That's just kind of what we want. Living the Dream would be 3, right? But the upside is those panoramas do tap for mana, so you can, you know, save that up. But being able to goad a team is, because generally you don't need to goad everybody at the table. You can just goad the one super aggro player, and you're probably good. Akoum Hellkite. I went too fast there. So yeah, 2 damage if it's a mountain. Then our landfall enchantments that retreat to Valakut. You know, +2/+0, or a target creature can't block. And then Valakut Exploration. That's pretty good. Now, I do have a couple of weird ones like Tybalt. Just in there for the your opponents can't gain life. We don't really like that shenaniganery. But we have some different kind of stuff like Dreadhorde Arcanist, because it triggers when it attacks. So if you're getting multiple attack steps, obviously you're going to trigger it a couple times a turn. Then we have the class of cards that whenever they deal combat damage to a player, you know, Scare Tiller says whenever it becomes tapped. Wayward Guide Beast, now this is a great card, deals combat damage to a player. You get to bounce a land. You don't have to. You get to. I mean, yeah, you have to. But you're going to want to do that in order to replay it and get landfall triggers. Legion Loyalist. You know, the battalion thing. Creatures you control first strike and trample and can't be blocked by tokens. That's awesome. Battle Rattle Shaman. At the beginning of combat, you may have target creature, so you can give this to our commander there. And then we have Fanatic of Mogus, because, you know, Devotion to Red's a thing. last creature, of course, Avatar Fury. I chose this one for the fire-breathing ability. And the fact that most of the time it's free. Let's face it. If an opponent controls 7 or more lands, this thing's going to be free more times than it's not. So let's look at some removal, shall we? We have Red Elemental Blast, because it's a great card. And blue's, you know, I'd say one of the top 5 colors there are. Echoing Ruin. I love the unpredictableness of Wild Swing. It's just awesome. Shatter Skull Smashing. This is really good. Fire Blast. Builder's Bane. Now, Trader's Instinct is not a removal outright, but the creature gets +2 that you stole, and there's a good chance we're going to beat with it a couple of times, right? Good old-fashioned Shatter, Cleansing Wildfire. Now, let's talk about Cleansing Wildfire here. Spot land destruction is a necessary thing. The Maze of Ith, especially for this deck, Maze of Ith, to Maze of Ith, Gaze Cradle, Cabal Coffers, there's a million of them. Okay, slight exaggeration, but you know what I'm talking about. There's a bunch of lands that are just problems that just need to go, even if it's somebody else's Rogue's Passage, you know. But now, the reason why Cleansing Wildfire is in this particular deck is to destroy our own lands. That's right. Because it's going to give us yet another landfall trigger. Its controller may search their library for a basic land, put it on the battlefield tapped, and you draw a card. So for 2 mana, no card expenditure, because you're playing this, drawing a card, and replacing the land, you're getting a landfall trigger. Now, for all the other reasons, that's why I'm running Stone Rain. I pulled this in. This was one of the cards that I pulled from my set booster that was on the list. Kind of random, but you know. Then we have Obliterate and Flash Fires, because let's face it, sometimes you just want to watch the world burn. I'm not going to lie. I know it feels wrong to hate on white, because it's believed to be that white has the smallest slice of the color pie. You know, they're just okay, and a lot of things are not really good at any one particular thing. But there are times, and love those art cards, you know, on the back. So, but that is what I have got for the landfall. You know, lots of mountains, of course. Like I said, I'm really, really itching to play this one. I think, yes, it would be fetches and a Crucible. You know, that would be awesome. But don't have that many Crucibles and or fetches. Yep, I shaved. Like everything. So, deck number 617 is done. We can put it on the wall. Oh, I'm missing one of the ones I just built, because I played it. So, I do appreciate y'all watching. Y'all let me know what you think. But I think right now, we're going to shuffle and cut.